Hi everyone, my name is Johari Shuck with Financial Juneteenth, and today we're going to talk to Mr. Lewis Jefferson, who is a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and we're going to talk today about his fraternity's commitment to economic empowerment in the Black community. So, hi Lewis, how are you?
Hi, how are you, Johari? Thank you for having me.
Good, I'm doing well. So, why don't you tell me why we're talking today? Someone reached out to us on your behalf, so tell me why you wanted to talk to us.
Yes, one reason that I wanted to talk to the community is about the fact that Omega Psi Phi is a fraternity that was established to uplift the downtrodden, to bring about a union of college men to occupy a constructive, helpful place for downtrodden humanity, to begin to look into social issues, to increase the dignity of humanity, and to look at that internationally as well as nationally.
Okay.
And a lot of people are don't seem to understand that. They look at Omega Psi Phi as perhaps maybe a place where you can have social events and have a lot of fun. And I can see you smiling because we do have a lot of fun. We're fun-loving men, but we do have a social and humanity responsibility, even environmental responsibility. And so I wrote a book, and the book is entitled All Revolutionary Cues Proposes Revolution for Black Fraternity Relevance to the Global African Struggle. And All Revolutionary Cues are a group of men of Omega Psi Phi that are revolutionary in mind, meaning that we want to affect change in, as well as utilize Omega Psi Phi to affect that change. Clearly, you live in Chicago. Well, I don't know whether I should say that or not.
Yeah,
Am I
yeah, you're
allowed?
good.
Okay, okay. And certainly you've seen what is going on with Rakia Boyd, what's going on with Ronnie Man, what has gone on with the numerous police brutality attacks on Black people, the closure of schools, the dismantling of unions and that sort of thing. This thing is going on throughout the country. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and we've also experienced Melissa Williams and Timothy Russell and Tamir Rice and the whole gamut. We look at that as a litmus test to the systematic racism that is happening in other aspects of Black and brown lives. We see the shootings and police brutality as the sign that other things are happening in the medical field, in the educational field, and economic field. And because these things are happening, we felt that Omega Psi Phi, being that it has a strong collective of men, Black men that are well educated, we felt that we could pool that talent as well as our resources to affect that change. And one of the most important chapters of the book that I deal with is a chapter called From Bricks to Bricks. And in that chapter, we talk about economic development, economic empowerment. And I'll go into why I named it Bricks to Bricks. But first, I'll say that the reason for that I feel that we can work for economic empowerment is because we have an infrastructure. We have our own banking system. We have a credit union that is really one of the first credit unions, only the second in the country that has been established and chartered as a fraternal association, and that's major.
Okay.
And so we're heavily backed by the National Credit Union Association's insurance. And we could utilize our banking system to build an economic structure for Black people. But currently, we don't do it ourselves. And that's one reason why Revolutionary Cues has to begin to help Omega Psi Phi to revolve as well. We
Right.
want to revolve in our thought process, because if we have a banking system, then we could begin to provide loans for the general public for houses, for cars, and for education, rather than being denied consistently through the racist system that we have in the United States for those very same loans to give ourselves a chance economically.
Right, and not just denied, like denied and controlled. Like
Right.
that money that we get always comes with some strings attached, and
Absolutely.
normally that is not to our to empower and free us. So I'm with
Yes.
you.
Yes, that is exactly correct. And so we must evolve to the point where Omega Psi Phi has a lot of revenue that comes in through our initiation fees, our dues, and consistently we are paying outside entities, meaning the white established entities, to be quite honest, the white established entities, meaning the banking systems, all of our money, rather than going into our own bank, we make their banks stronger and we make our banks weaker, and we still have to go to them for loans and for banking. In our communities, our various communities, we don't even have a bank. The commercial banks don't even want to put real banks in our communities anymore. It's always
Right.
payday loans, and who is also owned by the actual banks anyway. We're saying that we need to make our banks strong, put the majority of our revenue into that. And as we increase our revenue, we have more lending power. One thing that we learned through credit unions is that you can lend 10% of 10% to an individual based on what you have in the bank currently for your particular bank. So for example, if we have $4 million in the bank, we can make $400,000 loans for either businesses or for houses or for whatever a credit-worthy person would have. And then we could decide even on what that credit value is if we begin to get strong enough. I wrote the book in the chapter From Bricks to Bricks, in the sense that in Omega Psi Phi, we carry a brick as an endearing reason to say that we will build a structure and we will protect that structure in this brick. And so I compared that, I juxtaposed that to the BRICS Bank, which is a banking system internationally that will challenge the IMF and the World Bank. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Which challenges the World Bank and IMF in the sense that developing nations would eventually be able to go to those sources for loans rather than the IMF, who is ripping them off and exploiting those developing countries. I mention that in the sense, if we elevate our conscious level, if we evolve and revolve in a revolutionary way in our mind, then we would begin to even interface with that entity, the BRICS Bank, to back and fund the credit for our loans and for our investments. So this is the high level of thinking that we as all revolutionary Qs feels that a group, organization of educated black men should be thinking on that level. We should party, we should throw our hooks up and have fun, but we should also be thinking on that high level in order to deliver us as a people from the hell that we're experiencing today.
Right. Oh my gosh, you said so much in that however many minutes that was, but you touched on so many important things because at the root of all of our issues, and you alluded to this, like economics is the root of our educational problems, our
Yes.
problems with police, our housing issues, our unemployment issues, like all of these things are tied up and they're so tightly coiled. Like
Yes.
until you pull each one of those things out, you have to figure out how to handle the economic side of things. Otherwise, we're going to keep being in the same cycle of madness that we are in
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
So I think that's awesome. So can you talk a little bit more about, you were saying that, you have this credit union. How old is it? How have how has it been received in the community? Like, what has been kind of like the traction with that?
Okay, thank you for that question. I think it's an excellent question. The credit union was established by the forward thinking, and I mentioned in the book, and I'm very happy that you asked the question so that I can mention Brother James Elam's name, because Brother James Elam was a very driven man that was a scientist, like I mean, that's my profession as well. He was a scientist that built a lab, and he felt that we needed self-determination. We needed to have our own banking system, and he fought really hard within Omega Psi Phi to get that credit union established. That was in 1986 is when the credit union was established, and since that point, he met some resistance in that, and there's still some resistance as to utilizing it even within Omega Psi Phi to make it strong. That's my push in this generation. James Elam has passed on, but his spirit is within me. I can feel it because I'm driven to make sure that I take it to the next level, of which Brother Elam has set forth for me as well as all of Omega Psi Phi.
Okay.
As far as the community involvement with it, we haven't done the marketing to the community. We haven't opened it up in a way that it would be appealing to the community. And that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm having an event along with All Revolutionary Qs. We are having an event in Las Vegas where we're having our national international meeting, which is called a conclave. We are having a concert, and that concert is to promote Black self-determination through economic empowerment. And we're having Dead Prez and Rebel Diaz. Rebel Diaz are your homeboys. They're from Chicago.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check them out.
That's right. And Dead Prez, of course, you know Dead Prez has always put out a very strong, positive, freedom-fighting type message. So we felt like, okay, we'll bring the boom and the bap and beat the drum to summons the people to come and hear about how we're going to get this empowerment. And that's why we put this concert together, to open it up so that we can begin to push Omega to do it and introduce it to the community, so the community knows that we're thinking about them, we love them, and we see the problems that are happening in the world, and we want to do something strong about it.
Wow, that's good. So how did you even, like, was the concert your idea? Like, do you know Dead Prez? Like, how did the concert come together?
Right. It's a good question. I felt that Dead Prez I look at the bros, and we call Omega Psi Phi the bros, and I look at the bros as a very strong, boisterous, but will stand up for you if they have to, and I look at Dead Prez. Dead Prez tells it like it is. They don't pull any punches. They just say exactly what they want to say, and it's factual. And they use they're educated brothers, and they're putting out a message of liberation. And part of it is health liberation, is economic liberation, is political liberation, and that's what All Revolutionary Qs wants to be about, and that's what we are about, and our whole organization should be about. Any Black man in this country, knowing what we go through, should have a revolutionary mindset to change it. Right. And so I felt like, okay, I'm gonna get the strongest, hardest group that I know to promote this revolving of thought, and then we're going to have some events surrounding that. We're going to have the Economic Empowerment Summit. It's a mini summit that's going to happen at Cox Pavilion in Las Vegas, where that's free to the community, where the community can tell us what their needs are, what their concerns are, and then we can share with them about what we have to offer and come up with some solutions as to what their problems are and what we can potentially solve through building a better economic platform. So that's going to be happening from 2 to 6, and then we're going to have the concert. It's going to be strong, and we're going to have 2 parties. One is a conscious party, and then one is just a be out party for the bros.
I know about those, and I'll just stop there.
Okay.
I probably need to
Come on
edit
out
that
there
out.
with us then.
You know what? I wish I could. It sounds like such an amazing event. It really does. Like when I first heard about it, I'm like looking at my calendar to see like, can I swing it? I don't know, but
Right.
but let me ask you this: what do you Actually, I have two questions. The first one is, what obstacles do you think you face in this, grand, noble effort that you are undertaking?
Yes, yeah. The obstacles that we face. One is that, and I talk about this in the book as well. Like every sector of American life and international life for Black people, we have a class struggle. And in Omega Psi Phi, there is no doubt a class struggle. We're a microcosm of society, and we have a group of elite that would like to keep our how should I say, finances to ourselves, to keep our what we can offer to the world to ourselves, rather than, and not even, I don't even think they're thinking keeping it to themselves, but they're thinking on a small level. They want to give, but they give in a very small token way. And I don't even think that they even realize that, some of them, like in that particular class. We can give out turkeys. We can give out $1,000 here, $500 here in a scholarship. But we're capable of doing so much more. We're capable of building trade schools to keep young brothers and sisters off the streets and provide an education for them. So the challenge would be convincing the classes to do that. And then we have another class that doesn't realize our power either. They're just out. They just want to just have fun and do whatever they want to do. And they're not concerned with the constructive, systematic efforts that we're going to need to do in order to get Black people out of their condition. So that's the challenge. And then also the challenge will be to get the credit union up to speed in offering the economic and financial platforms that any other bank would offer, like a checking account, like online banking or credit cards. We need to begin to think seriously, come together with a plan to build Omega Psi Credit Union up to the point where it is fully operational and functional to the general population of people. And so I see those as challenges.
Okay. Now, is that kind of like, do you have I don't want to say a strategic plan because that sounds very businessy, but do you have a strategy that you plan to, like, how you plan to kind of roll that out and start to try to overcome those obstacles that you just talked about?
Right. Okay. So at the conclave, at this particular meeting, we're going to have the concert and all of that, but we're also having a national meeting. Omega Psi Phi's national meeting is going on, and All Revolutionary Qs has an intrafraternal bill. The bill is just like you send a bill to the Senate. We call them recommendations. We have a bill right now that is calling for Omega Psi Phi to divest from large commercial banks and invest into its credit union or a Black-owned bank that is committed to the development and economic power of the people. One bank, I won't mention that bank right now until I know that they want to do it with us. We have another Black-owned bank in mind that will also work with us on that. So that's what we have in mind as far as down the line, how to deal with this matter. Okay. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did. So you're kind of, it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you are really trying to build kind of from within and then kind of have it ripple out to the community. Is that part of it, or no?
I think that's very accurate. Okay. I think that we have to, because right now the credit union is pretty strong, but it could be so much stronger because we don't put hardly any of our revenue in it. And if we put most of our revenue, or even a third of our revenue in it, we would have an entity to challenge other banking systems. If we did it on a yearly basis and committed to that, our lending power would be so much stronger, and we could begin to challenge other entities. So yes, we have to work internally, but the banking system is open to Omega Psi Phi, its friends, and its family. And like all credit unions, you have to come up with a general body, an entity of which you're establishing this credit union on. And I would also say that, if we can't work together through Omega Psi Phi to build an entity that's committed to the people, that wants to grow, we will have to begin to consider opening up our own credit union with the people. Like, unite with the people and say, okay, we have a group, we have a body that's committed to ending our economic struggle through economic empowerment. That's one way of doing it. I want to say one thing too, Johari. When you talk about revolution and people talk about, that's a scary thing, you want to shoot up some people. No, you don't have to. The issue now is economics, and think about that. If we were to divest from commercial banks, you're hearing it from me, and you said that to your church, or if you go to church or you go to a mosque or wherever you attend, or any organization you belong to, and you say, these guys over there said that you could build your own bank, and we don't have to bank with the large commercial banks that are being bailed out, and while they're still foreclosing on our houses, then economics becomes your warfare. Something to think about.
That was deep. That's so true. And I think that, we need to start or continue to have these conversations, because I know that there are pockets of people, based on people that I know that live in different places, that are, kind of talking similar things. So I think that it's good that you've gathered a group of like-minded people to attract the same, so that you can really make some things happen. And, I agree with your assessment about revolutionary. And I think that really at the root of it is doing something different, because
yes.
We have not come very far with what we've been doing.
Right.
So, just doing something different and daring to just step out there. I think that that's really, one of the great things about what you're doing. And, at the same time, I think it's great that you are just in this conversation, like, you've totally changed the narrative of what it means to be a man of Omega Psi Phi for a lot of people. And I think that that's important too, because you don't want to discount any group of people based on, what the myths are, or, what have you. And so I think that this, is a good platform, and I'm glad we had this conversation, because that narrative needs to get out there too. So I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you so much, Johari.
So is there anything else that you want to say that you haven't said already? I think that you had been very powerful thus far, but any final thoughts or anything?
I guess my only final thought would be to thank what you and Boyce Watkins is doing to keep this information out there for the people, because we live in a time where we cannot depend on commercial media to give us a positive message. There's no way the world will be able to hear what we're talking about right now. If it wasn't for the insight of Boyce Watkins, yourself, to say, okay, we want to do, again, something different, something very revolutionary, to establish your communication system that allows for us to be heard and express our ideas, that inspires others. And so I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and Boyce, for what he is doing. More power to him. I support him. And you please tell him and give him my regards, and I'm going to continue to give my contributions for his regards.
Okay. Well, I will pass along that message for sure.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, well, real quick, do you want to share the details again about the event at the Conclave?
Okay, yes, absolutely. So the event will be all-day event. We're going to start, it's on July 23rd, 2016, We're going to start with the Economic Empowerment Mini Conference, where the Vegas community will join members of Omega Psi Phi and all over. We'll talk about issues. That starts that will go from 2 to 6:30. We'll have a panel discussion. We'll also have some poetry. We'll have tables where the community can provide what they have to offer as well. And then we'll open up with dead prayers. Doom, doom, doom. Right. and that's going to be hype. I'm sure that they're going to really bring it. They bring a lot of energy. And then we got Pink Gator, who is a Revolutionary Q. He is hosting the show, who is a lot of energy. You have to actually go on YouTube for his video, Pink Gator, I'm a Q. He has a song that rivaled Atomic Dog, and so he's going to be hosted. He has a lot of energy. We love him, and then Rebel Diaz also, who are very active, lots of energy. The people are really going to love them too.
From Chi-Town.
And then what's that?
From Chi-Town.
From the side, they're there, active. And then we're going to cap that off at 12 midnight. We're going to have a party in the major arena. It's a be out set for the bros, the deltas, the AKAs, the Sigma Gamma Rhos, the Phi Beta Sigma, Kappa Alpha Psi. Everybody can show up, you know. Okay. And that will be a party for that. And then we're going to have a conscious party in another section. It's called the Red Room, where it's a little bit more upscale, and the music will be neo soul, conscious hip hop, and even other music from the diaspora, like even one of your other homeboys like Khalil El Zabar. You got to look him up too.
Yes, I will. I will do that. Thank you so much for the hip hop, hookups and all that stuff. And thanks a lot for talking to us. And I wish you the best with your event. I know it's going to be great. I can't wait to hear about it. And maybe we can follow up afterwards so I can hear about how everything went.
Absolutely. I would love to do that, Johari. So thank you again.
Okay. Thank you. See ya.
Yeah, bye-bye. Good luck on your paper.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.